Hello everybody. Breaks are pretty essential in my opinion, and I'm going to show you why. So here's a track I'm working on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the break, and I'm just going to keep the hi-hat. I'm just going to loop that through the whole thing. All right, so here's what we're working with. Sounds pretty solid, right? But the drums, they're doing a lot, but they're not like very interesting, you know? So what you can do is I always cut out the hi-hats just to make room in the mix. And then I just put little breaks in between. It makes a crazy difference. The key word here is going to be call and response. Basically, if you don't know what that is something makes a call, right? And then, so this is the call in the drums, right? And then the response is the rest of this. Creating this kind of call and response, or this sort of like push and pull in the drop, gives it a lot more energy and a lot more weight to everything that happens, right? And so you want to make sure you're doing this with your basses too. I think breaks just help fill out the drums. So you can see here, you know, I'm dropping it out. I'm doing some like alternate bass here. Oops. And then you can sustain a main bass, right? But the call and response is what makes it hit even harder every time. Now, for these breaks, you can use literally any break. I'm not even processing them that heavy. I'm literally just cutting the bass out. I'm not even like chopping them or anything. Some of them, I think, yeah. In Ableton, if you go down here to warp, set it to beats mode, transients, set it to the top option. I don't know what it's called. But if you turn this down, it basically gates the transients. So it sounds like. So if you have a really messy break, but you want to clean it up a little bit just to make it sound cleaner in the mix. I did it here too. This is what it sounds like originally. And then I just tightened it up a little bit. And if you need breaks, there's a sample pack that's been around forever called Blue Martin Jungle Jungle. It's a little overused, but it has tons of breaks. Here in this breaks folder, there's so many. You just click on one. And just go down your list, finding one that sounds cool. Like even this one, if I wanted to do one here, right? And let me move it there. For example. So slow it down, so I'm going to speed it up. Double time. And I did that by holding shift and dragging on the edge. Make sure warping is on. It won't do it without warping. So that's a little fast. But that's okay. I'm just going to keep that going and then cut it right when the next bass hits. That can sound cool. It's very messy though, so oops, that's a weird artifact. So if you shift tab, double click these, you can highlight both and do them at the same time. Beats, transients, top option. Okay, so maybe this wasn't the best example. Let's find another one. Sure, that one sounds pretty good. Put that there. I like that tempo. And then we'll do the same thing. Beats, transients, top option. Just like that. And then some other stuff you can do. I'm going to just bring this one back because I like it. Is you can play with some reverb stuff, right? So something that I like to do every time I do a reverb, you can do sends. The way I sidechain is I just have a big sidechain group, and it just gets annoying having to sidechain all the individual sends and stuff too. And it's especially annoying having a send when I'm only putting reverb on like one thing. So what you can do is you can take your reverb plugin, full, dry, wet, group it, click this little button, create a new chain. Call this one dry. And then in the reverb, I always EQ beforehand because I have trust issues and don't trust the built-in one. And then take it around 120 just to not reverb out the bass and stuff. So now if we listen to it, it's really muddy. But what we can do is put a utility at the end of it, put it at 0, and we can automate the reverb here. So we just like maybe something like this. And then cut it right off so it's clean in the mix. And that sounds sick. So yeah, call and response, put breaks everywhere because they sound sick. Have fun. See you next time.